Let us begin with a scene that has become the defining ritual of our time. It is 7:30 p.m. on a Friday. We have finished the work week. We are tired. We order takeout. We pick up the remote control and open Netflix or Hulu or HBO Max. We are looking for something to watch, something to relax us, something to transport us. And so the scrolling begins. We scroll past the dramas, the comedies, the documentaries. We watch a trailer. Then we read the description. Then, because we don't want to waste our time on something mediocre, we pick up our phones. We check the Rotten Tomatoes score. We check the IMDb rating. We go on Reddit to see what people are saying. We text a friend, "Have you seen this? Is it worth it?" 5 minutes pass. 20 minutes pass. 45 minutes pass. The food we ordered has gone cold, and we are still staring at the menu screen, paralyzed by the sheer volume of options, terrified of investing 2 hours in a movie that might be a 6 out of 10. Eventually, exhausted by the act of choosing, we turn the TV off, or we put on The Office for the 100th time because it is safe. We choose the known over the unknown. This scenario is not just about picking a movie. It is a hologram for our entire lives. We live in the age of information, yet we are starving for wisdom. We are the most informed generation in human history. We carry the sum of human knowledge in our pockets. We can access data on anything instantly. We can read 10,000 reviews before we buy a toaster. We can background check a date before we even meet them for coffee. We can consult experts, algorithms, and influencers on everything from what to eat for breakfast to how to invest our 401k. And yet, look at us. We are the most indecisive, the most anxious, and the most disconnected generation to ever walk the earth. We have outsourced our authority. We have handed the keys of our lives to the external brain. We trust Yelp more than we trust our own taste buds. We trust WebMD more than we trust our own body's signals. We trust the algorithm more than we trust our own souls. We have forgotten how to listen to the whisper. And because we cannot hear the whisper, we are screaming for help. We live in a culture that worships the rational mind, the intellect, the logic. From the time we are children in the American school system, we are trained to disregard our feelings. We are taught to show our work. We are taught that if something cannot be measured, weighed, peer-reviewed, or put into a spreadsheet, it is not real. We are taught to make pro and con lists. We are taught to be pragmatic. We are taught to be data-driven. We treat our lives like a business problem to be solved. We treat our hearts like an equation to be balanced. And in doing so, we have silenced the oldest, deepest, and most powerful intelligence system we possess: our intuition. Intuition is often dismissed in the West. We call it woo-woo. We call it magical thinking. We think it belongs to psychics and mystics. But intuition is not magic. It is biology. It is high-speed processing. It is the result of millions of years of evolution. It is your subconscious mind processing billions of bits of information, micro-expressions, pheromones, tone of voice. Environmental cues, pattern recognition from the past at a speed that your conscious, logical mind cannot even comprehend. The conscious mind processes about 40 bits of information per second. The subconscious mind processes 40 million bits per second. When you get a hunch, that is not a guess. That is your supercomputer handing you the answer on a slip of paper without showing you the math. And what do? We crumble up the paper and throw it away. We say that's irrational. And then 6 months later or 6 years later, when the disaster strikes, when the betrayal happens, when the burnout collapses us, we whisper the saddest sentence in the English language: I knew it. I knew it from the beginning. We always know. That is the terrifying and beautiful truth. We always know, but we are afraid to know, because knowing requires action. If we admit we know the relationship is dead, we have to have the difficult conversation. We have to move out. We have to be alone. If we admit we know the job is killing our soul, we have to face the uncertainty of the job market. We have to risk our status. If we admit we know we are on the wrong path, we have to turn around. So we pretend we don't know. We gaslight ourselves. We drown out the whisper with noise. Think about the noise level of our lives. We have engineered a world that makes hearing the intuition impossible. We are never in silence. We have podcasts playing while we drive. We have Spotify playing while we shower. We have the TV on in the background while we cook. We have notifications dinging in our pockets every 30 seconds. We are terrified of silence. Why? Because in the silence, the truth floats to the surface. In the silence, the gut speaks. And sometimes the gut says things that are inconvenient to our ego. The ego wants safety. The ego wants the 5-year plan. The ego wants to look good on Instagram. The intuition wants truth. The intuition wants aliveness, and those two agendas are often at war. Let's go deeper into the biology of knowing. We need to talk about the vagus nerve and the enteric nervous system. Scientists call the gut the second brain. It has 100 million neurons. It produces 95% of the body's serotonin. It is constantly sending signals to the brain in your head. When you say, "I have a gut feeling," you are being scientifically accurate. Your gut is literally thinking. When you walk into a room and the hair on the back of your neck stands up, that is not a metaphor. That is your ancient mammalian survival system picking up on a threat that your eyes haven't seen yet. But we have severed the connection between the head and the body. We are walking heads. We treat our bodies like taxis that carry our brains from meeting to meeting. We numb our bodies with sugar, with caffeine, with alcohol, with sitting in chairs for 12 hours a day. We have stopped feeling, and because we cannot feel, we cannot know. So the first step to reclaiming intuition is somatic re-inhabitation. We have to move back into our bodies. We have to learn the language of the body again. It is a binary language. It speaks in expansion and contraction. Next time you have a decision to make, even a small one like, should I go to this party? Don't look at the clock. Don't think about what your friends will say. Close your eyes. Put your hand on your belly. Ask the question and feel. Does your body lean forward or pull back? Does your chest open or does it tighten? Do you feel a sense of lightness or a sense of weight? A yes feels like an opening. It feels like a breath. It feels like flow. A no feels like a knot. It feels like a wall. It feels like a sudden drop in energy. This is your GPS. It is always broadcasting. We just have the volume turned down to 0. Now let's address the biggest obstacle, the confusion between fear and intuition. This is the question everyone asks: how do I know if it's my gut instinct warning me or if it's just my trauma/anxiety scaring me? Because we are an anxious people. We have PTSD. We have insecurities. We have imposter syndrome. How do we tell the difference? Here is the secret code. Fear creates chaos. Intuition creates clarity. Fear is loud, it screams, it is frantic, it rushes you. It feels like a spinning vortex in the chest or throat. It tells you stories. What if this happens? What if that happens? You're going to fail. They're going to laugh at you. Fear is emotional, dramatic, and repetitive. It sounds like a nagging parent or a bully. Intuition is different. Intuition is quiet. It is flat. It is neutral. It doesn't scream. It just states. It feels like a sudden drop in gravity. It feels like a heavy anchor hitting the sand. It doesn't say, "Oh my God, don't do it." It just says simply and firmly no, or go, or not him. Intuition is not emotional. It is factual. It is a deep, resonant knowing that sits in the bones. It is often unemotional even when the message is life-changing. Fear makes you feel frantic. Intuition makes you feel solid even if you are scared of the action you have to take. We also need to talk about the addiction to polling the audience. This is a modern epidemic. When something happens in our lives, a breakup, a job offer, a weird text message, what is the first thing we do? We pick up the phone. We screenshot the text. We send it to the group chat. We call our mom. We ask our coworkers. We post a poll on Instagram. What do you guys think? We are desperate for consensus. We want a committee to make the decision for us so we don't have to bear the responsibility if it goes wrong. But listen to me. Nobody else is living your life. Nobody else has your karma. Nobody else has your specific frequency. Nobody else has to wake up in your bed and live with the consequences of your choices. Your mother loves you, but her advice is filtered through her own fears and her generational trauma. Your friends love you, but their advice is filtered through their own envy, their own limitations, or their own risk tolerance. When you ask everyone else what to do, you muddy the water. You mix your clear signal with their static. You dilute your own truth. Try this experiment. It is a terrifying one. For 1 week, make decisions without asking anyone. Not one person. Buy the shirt without sending a photo to your sister asking if it's cute. Reply to the text without analyzing it with your best friend. Choose the vacation spot without reading the travel blog. Quit the gym if you hate it without justifying it to anyone. It will feel naked. You will feel exposed. You will feel the weight of sovereignty. But you will also feel a surge of power. You will remember that you are the captain of this ship. You are not a passenger. We must understand that intuition is the GPS of the universe. In the Taoist philosophy, there is the concept of the Tao, the flow of nature, the current of the river. When we are in our heads trying to force things, trying to figure it out, attempting to control every outcome, we are swimming upstream. We are fighting the river. We are exhausted. Intuition is the feeling of the current. It tells you where the flow is. When you follow your intuition, life becomes easier. Not problem-free, but friction-free. You stop banging your head against locked doors. You stop chasing people who are running away. You stop forcing square pegs into round holes. You start to experience synchronicities, meaningful coincidences. You think of a book and someone gifts it to you. You have a hunch to go to a coffee shop and you meet a future business partner. You turn left instead of right and you avoid an accident. This is not magic. This is alignment. This is what happens when you stop arguing with the navigator. Let's talk about the hell yes or no rule. In a culture of overabundance, we are drowning in maybe. Do you want to go on a second date? Maybe. He's nice enough. Do you want to take this promotion? Maybe. The money is okay. Maybe is the enemy of intuition. Maybe is the comfort zone of the people pleaser. Maybe is how we fill our lives with mediocrity. We fill our calendars with things we don't really want to do, and then we wonder why we are exhausted. Here is the rule: if your intuition doesn't scream hell yes, then it is a no. We are terrified to say no because of FOMO, fear of missing out. We think if I say no to this mediocre opportunity, a great one might not come. I should take what I can get. That is the scarcity mindset. The opposite is true. The universe abhors a vacuum. When you say no to the lukewarm, you create space for the fire. When you clear out the clutter of maybe, you create a landing pad for hell yes. You have to trust that if it is meant for you, it will not pass you by. And if it passes you by, it was not meant for you. We often ignore our intuition because it doesn't make logical sense. The mind wants a syllabus. The mind wants a 5-year plan. The mind wants guarantees. Intuition gives no guarantees. It gives no map. It is a flashlight that only illuminates the next step. Quit the job. Why? The logical mind screams, I have benefits, I have a 401k, I have tenure. What will I do next? How will I pay the mortgage? Quit the job. The intuition repeats. It doesn't explain. It doesn't give you a business plan. It just knows that your time there is done. Following intuition requires faith, not religious faith, but faith in yourself, faith that you can handle the unknown, faith that there is an intelligence running your life. that is smarter than your anxiety. Look back at your life. Really look at it. Look at the best things that ever happened to you. The chance meetings, the sudden opportunities, the moments of grace. Did you plan them in a spreadsheet? Did you strategize them, or did they happen when you were following a hunch? Did they happen when you took a leap? The best parts of your life have always been unscripted. There is a cost to ignoring the whisper. We need to be honest about this. When we consistently override our intuition, we lose trust in ourselves. We develop a relationship of distrust with our own souls. Imagine you have a friend who gives you great advice. But every time they give you advice, you ignore it and do the opposite. Eventually, that friend stops talking. They stop picking up the phone. Your intuition is that friend. If you keep ignoring it, the voice gets quieter. It recedes. You become numb. You become a zombie walking through a life that looks good on the outside but feels empty on the inside. This is the root of the midlife crisis. It is not about buying a sports car. It is the moment when the suppressed voice of the intuition finally kicks down the door and burns the house down, because it refuses to be ignored any longer. Don't wait for the fire, listen to the smoke. We are entering a time in history where logic is not enough. The world is changing too fast. The algorithms are changing. The economy is changing. The old rules don't work. We cannot navigate the future with the maps of the past. We need a real-time navigation system. We need the compass of the gut. The logical mind is a wonderful servant but a terrible master. It is a tool like a calculator. You use it to pay your taxes. You don't use it to choose your spouse. You don't use it to find your purpose. For the administrative tasks of life, use your brain. For the big things, love, art, death, purpose, direction, you must go offline. You must go inward. So tonight, let us try a new practice. Let us commit to the sacred pause. Before you agree to the dinner, before you hit send on the email, before you swipe right, stop. Put the phone down, turn off the screen. Take one deep breath, drop your awareness from your head down into your chest and then down into your belly. And listen, not to the podcast, not to the news, not to your mother's voice in your head. Listen to the silence underneath the silence. Ask the question and wait. Don't force an answer. Don't think an answer. Wait for a feeling. Wait for a sensation. Wait for the tiny, quiet voice that sounds like your own, but wiser. It might be a whisper. It might be an image. It might be a simple knowing. Trust it. It is the voice of the universe speaking through the aperture of you. It has been waiting for you to listen. It knows the way home. You are not alone in this dark room. You have a guide. You have always had a guide. Stop looking for the answers out there. The guru is in your gut. The answer is in the silence. Breathe. Listen. Trust.